Knowledge is power. Power to write epic chords. Majestic chords. Chords that inspire. Chords that move. Chords that are overused in science documentaries, but can also be used in down-tempo ambient chillwave, or even instrumental progressive rock. Today, we explore the power of God chords. Well, that was fun. So, moving on, let's talk about actually using these things and composing with them, all right? This is a very simple concept. What all of those chords you just heard, what they all had in common is that they didn't have much in common, okay? These were chords that did not share a key. They didn't, oftentimes, they didn't even share a note between the two of them, okay? So here's what I want to do is I want to show you all the primary candidates for God chords. Keep in mind, God chords are not an official thing, all right? They're just a term I've heard used, and I'm just going to give you the best examples of them, okay? So what you need to know is our scale degrees. If you don't know what scale degrees are, check out my other video, but that's just how I'll be labeling these things. Even if you don't know that, you should be able to follow along, all right? Let's talk about starting on E major, all right? We have to start somewhere, all right? And I'll just pick E. So there's my E chord, all right? And then I need to find out where are my candidates for my God chords. Well, the first candidate I would pick is starting on the flatted third, all right? So that would be a G. So if I go from E to G, that's 3 frets away. If I play a G major, then I'll have one of those epic changes, all right? All the God chords I played you, they're all major chords. Nothing fancy, just major chords back and forth. It's just where you're going between those major chords is where the magic happens. Here it is going to a natural 3. This is your next God chord, 1 to 3. All right, and that's a little more bold, I think, a little bit more inquisitive, right? A little more light shining from that one. The best one, though, is definitely the change from our root to our tritone. So that would be from E major to B flat. All right, you hear how nice of a change that is from E to B flat, right? Our next one would be to our flat 6. Okay, that would be from E major to C major. Nice change right there. Remember, all I'm doing is playing the chords, but if you do something different like arpeggiate them, very nice idea. Once you have a chord progression or a chord change you like, do more than just strum them. Do something cool with them. The last God chord would be our natural 6, all right? That would be from E to C sharp. All right? Big, bold change, giant change right there, right? But definitely my favorite is the one that starts off the tritone. So let's beef up this concept a little bit more. It's pretty boring to just do major chords. Obviously, the next step would be spice up these major chords, maybe extend them, turn them into major 7th chords. I really enjoy adding in a tritone to make them like a sharp 4, to add a sharp 4 in there. But let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's go back to E major to C major. That's going from a 1 to a flat 6, right? 1, flat 6. Let's just take that C and let's just make it a C major 7 instead. All right, and now we've got this really nice change of E major to C major 7. And that, to me, is a very pleasing, lovely chord change, right? Another thing I like to do is to add in the tritone to some of these chords to kind of imply a Lydian feel. So let's go back E major to C, right? And I start playing that F sharp to give it a little bit of Lydian tonality. E, C. Right, I like that. We could do that on any of the changes. Let's go from E to C sharp. And then get that Lydian in on C sharp. And that's one of the things I recommend. Since we are not in one key here, since we're always changing keys with every single chord we're doing, it's going to be very difficult to like play a solo on top of this or even to sing on top of this. You really have to address each chord as its own key, all right? And or just kind of focus on the notes of the chord and just treat it like an arpeggio. But when you are treating it like its own key, I kind of suggest you treat it like Lydian just because it'll just ramp up that whole epic weirdness of it. So let's do like B flat to G, right? Here's B flat, all right? And then if I go to G right there, that would be a 1 to a flat 6, right? Or 1 to a natural 6. But if I make it G Lydian by adding in some of the notes of G Lydian, right? just like I did in C. So I suggest Lydian to help these entire things out. And the last little element to making these God chords more interesting is to add in the augmented fifth. I think it's a really, really cool note to add in there. So for like C major, here's a C major triad, C, E, G. But that G sharp, the sharp fifth, and if I kind of go up and down like that, I start getting that awe-inspiring sense of wonder. Anytime you have a major chord and that augmented fifth, it gets a little dreamy, all right? So if I combine that to what I was doing before, this time let's go from F sharp to C, all right? So here's an F sharp major, and here's C major with that augmented fifth. And I don't know how you can't get visions of like, I don't know, like every scene from Interstellar when you hear something like this. I'm sure, actually, listen to the beginning of the Cosmos show with Neil deGrasse Tyson. They use these chords pretty much through the entire beginning. It's much better composed than that. It's not just random major chords. But this, to me, is like the watered-down version of epic composition. All you really have to do is take some chords that don't relate to one another, cram them together, and make sure they don't share a common key, and you're going to start sounding this way. And I think that's a completely legitimate way to compose. Figure out how something makes you feel, figure out how it's done, and then when you want to make somebody feel that way, you just do that thing, all right? I wanted you to feel awe and wonder at the beginning of this video, so I just put together chords that I remember sound awe-inspiring and wonder. But there's not a lot of, writing, there's not a lot of soul-searching when it comes to that. It's just like, hey, what will work? I know it'll work. This will work. So it's definitely a mechanical method to work, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to do, and hopefully you get something out of this, and hopefully it gives you an idea to kind of expand your chords outside of just regular major, regular minor, anything modal, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And thank you so much for 10,000 subscribers. I saw that the other day. That's insane. I can't believe it's actually real. I'm going to try to get more videos out to here as quickly as I can, and I apologize for the delays, but hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you soon.